Shannon Gray loved Sean Ford wholeheartedly, regardless of her loneliness or feelings of lack of accomplishment. She once believed that he would be her forever until the end. However, things happened the other way around. Finally, she woke up when he pushed her to the edge of the cliff for another woman. Only then did she know that she was just a passerby in his life, and he would never be hers. Sean, you will regret this one day. In fact, no one can escape from feeling helpless. Perhaps, I will be gone when you decide to come back. Bam! Shannon Gray pushed the door open and walked straight into the CEO's office. Sean, tonight you. But seeing what happened on the couch instantaneously put a lump in her throat. Though brokenhearted, she never let her tears shed. Sean Ford, her husband, was on the couch with a young model, Shelby Sue, both barely dressed and disheveled. The same thing had happened so many times that she had lost count. Witnessing her husband's affairs had become something normal, but it still hurt. She felt as though a knife had been plunged into her heart, over and over again. Meanwhile, Sean Ford grew impatient with the interruption. Shannon, what makes you think that you can come here? She tried hard not to let her tears choke her. Sean, will you come home tonight? You haven't been home for 3 days, she calmly asked. On the surface, she managed to keep her emotions under control. In his smile, there was a certain tinge of irony. Shannon, cut the sweet talk. You just want to have sex with me, don't you? He did not hesitate to pour ridicule on her in front of another woman. Shannon's face turned pale, but she could not deny it. That was exactly why she was here to see him. Shelby was quickly irritated, for she simply could not allow her lover to be taken away by another woman all of a sudden. Firmly, she placed her slim hands on the back of his neck to pull him closer to her bare chest. Sean, ignore the crazy woman. I want more. Hush. Go home now. You can have all you want tomorrow, Sean reassured her. He stared at Shannon fixedly and saw the grim expression on her face that he had been waiting to see. Shelby decided to call it off, now that she had his word. She gave Shannon a look of haughty disdain before she walked out of the office while her high heels click-clacked down the corridor. Kneel. Sean ordered Shannon as soon as Shelby was out of sight. The unexpected turn of events slightly flurried Shannon. She did not expect that they would be having sex in his office. Sean, let's go home, shall we? She bit her lips nervously. She did not want to be in a spot where another woman had been. What? I'm the one who's paying for the service. Can't I at least have a say in where I'd like to have it? That's not what I meant. I just don't want to. Then kneel. He harshly interrupted, for he no longer had the capacity to tolerate any delay. Shannon Gray's disobedience caused the situation to become more intense. Angered, Sean Ford forcefully shoved her down. Shelby's fragrance still lingered on his body, which was irritating, to say the least. Sean, could you please take a shower first? She asked earnestly. Ha! He would not answer a woman he held in such contempt. Shannon, let me remind you that you're here to sell your body, so you don't have the right to make any request. She had spent the last 14 years loving him, and yet, she did not even deserve basic respect. Unfortunately, she could no longer stay composed, and tears started to roll down her face. Nonetheless, she had what she was here for. They had sex. Sean savagely threw a stack of cash in her face as he disappointedly exclaimed, "Here is 10,000. Count it." The stack of new notes cut her face, but there was no time to take care of it. She kneeled as she picked up the cash that was scattered all over the floor, piece by piece. After all, the money was all that she needed to save their son's life. Though married, he never paid her any respect that a woman in a marriage deserved. Instead, he treated her as if she was only a prostitute, that he only paid her to have sex with him, and $10,000 was the price that was mutually agreed upon. There was never any delay in payment. Cash was the only method of transaction. Sean preferred cash over credit cards. In fact, he always made sure that there was enough cash to pay her for sex, anytime and anywhere. He justified his actions this way. He needed to feel the pleasure that his money was well spent. The sheer delight of throwing money in her face after each session was irreplaceable. But $10,000 was barely enough to pay for John's hospital bills. She needed more. Without a choice, Shannon turned her face away from him and kneeled. Sean, I want more, she said while gritting her teeth with the painful feeling of humiliation. Sean Ford did not hesitate to turn her body around and start thrusting her, rather savagely. In fact, he seized her by the throat in exasperation. For he could not get over the fact that she had seemingly taken away the life of their baby in a willful abortion. And yet here she was, risking everything to protect the child that she bore with Julio Hayes. The accident that happened 6 years ago was the very cause of all her miseries. The doctors informed them that he would never be able to walk again. Refusing to have her life burdened by a disabled man, she carried out an abortion to terminate the pregnancy. If he could, he would cut her into 1,000,000 pieces just for her to feel the same pain that he had been through for the loss of their child if he could. Her words were still ringing in his ears, vividly. Sean, I don't want to raise a child with a disabled man. Julio Hayes is the only man that I'm willing to bear a child with. Sean, the fact that I've slept with a disabled man is what disgusts me the most. The incident was still present in his memory. The pieces of shattered glass and the blood of his child that stained his face. There was still warmth in the blood, but that did not change the fact that his beloved child was dead. Clouded by the burning hatred, his eyes became red-rimmed at the thought of the painful past. He had lost interest in her body, so he pulled out, zipped his pants, and tidied up his suit to make sure that there was not even a crease. He looked, once again, well-dressed and quite distinguished. Another stack of $5,000 in cash was thrown at her. "Shannon, you are a filthy woman." Shannon had to endure the pain that sent her body shivering as she picked up the cash. She soon realized that there were only $5,000. "Sean, it should be $10,000, isn't it?" She bit her lips and said, "What? I was honestly disgusted by your body. So much so that I couldn't even continue. Should I still pay you in full?" She bit her lips so hard that the edges were bruised, which prompted him to wreak vengeance on her continuously. "Shannon Gray, you really disgust me. Now off you go." Knowing his temper, she knew that the amount of money was all that she could take from him for today. The bill would be due soon, and she had no choice but to ask the hospital for a few days' grace so that she could collect more money from Sean in the following days. Her eyes were dimmed with tears from the humiliation. She almost walked into the door from not seeing it properly. Their love story was once so beautiful. Why did they end up like this? How did things get so ferociously hostile? He had an accident 6 years ago. She wanted more than anyone else to keep him company throughout his recovery, but someone threatened her with her father's life. The only condition was to leave the man, so she did as told. She pretended that she had an abortion and told him cruel lies so that he would set her free. However, before she had the chance to explain the situation to him, she had been framed and charged with homicide. Her father's death had become the very reason that she was put in chains and thrown into prison. She was released 5 years later, but no amount of explanation could change the way that he perceived the truth. He was convinced of her betrayal without a shadow of a doubt.